Hello rock stars, Matt Vanderbo here. Hey, in today's video, I am going to tell you why I deliberately chose to pursue a branch of the music industry that only pays pennies on the dollar when compared to the more flashy multi-thousand-dollar placements that you can land in this business. This was a very strategic choice on my part that you can make on your part as well. And in order to make this point, I am going to shed light on the 5 different ways you can make money in the sync music business. Now, before we get into any of that, it is important to know that sync music as a whole encompasses a big world of music. And all of these different approaches in the sync business have their own styles and strategies and arrangements and rules that you need to follow if you want to be successful in them. So even though sync music might get lumped all into one category, we're essentially talking about 5 different ways to do it. So let's get right into it. Beginning with number 1, which is making music specifically for advertisements. We're talking anything from your local barbecue restaurant to maybe mid-range retailers like Old Navy, all the way up to Nike and Apple. Now, writing music for advertising is a very enticing thing because some of the dollar figures that can be thrown around are eye-popping. And people see these eye-popping figures and they say, hey, I want a piece of that. I mean, why wouldn't you? But any commercial is only going to use one piece of music. Now, maybe they mix a few other tracks in there, but by and large, these commercials only have one piece of music. So this is like the old saying from Highlander, there can be only one. But these numbers can get astronomical. It is not unheard of to see advertising placements pay $20,000 to $50,000 for one single track. In fact, I have seen on many occasions these numbers reach in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, hundreds of thousands. Now, when that happens, gosh, everybody and their dog comes out to play. This is where you start getting into competition with the A-listers on big record labels because their record label wants a piece of that $200,000 payout. And so all of a sudden, you find little old you from wherever, Nebraska, in direct competition with Bruno Mars, or my girlfriend, Kat Valentine, Ariana Grande, who, by the way, is my celebrity crush, because even to an A-list celebrity, $200,000 is a lot of money. And if they can get it just by pitching one of their existing songs, you better believe they'll try. And a lot of times these advertisers want to be associated with the image of an artist rather than your music. So I don't really chase advertising too much because the competition is too great and the odds are too small for my taste. Which brings us to number 2, which would be making music for movie trailers. I'm sure you all know the movie trailer sound. It is this epic, over-the-top thing that is soaring and is typically orchestral, or if it's not orchestral, it is the most cutting-edge sound design that you've ever heard. If you want to get a trailer placement, you are competing against someone who's got a 60 or 70 person orchestra on a sound stage at their fingertips. And here comes you probably playing the orchestra through a keyboard, and it's just going to be incredibly hard for you to keep up sonically with these big names. Is it possible? Yes, of course it is possible. I know people who do it, actually, and they're no different than me. They just chose the movie trailer path and became very, very good at what they do. So the next way that you can make music for sync is to actually score your music to a picture. So in these instances, you are given an edit of the movie or the TV show, and you make the music specific to what is happening on the screen. Now, this is something that I never really do because it is incredibly time consuming to compose stuff, to line it up with the hits that you see on stage, and just to have a brain that works in these ways, where you gotta throw in like a 9/8 measure in occasionally, or maybe some random bar of 7/4. I mean, this is just, it's too much for me. Hey, the 4th way you could make music for sync is by writing songs designed specifically for placements in shows. And the beauty of writing a vocal song for placement on TV is that depending on which PRO you are in, vocal placements will get you a higher tiered royalty payment. So you'll make a little bit more money on the back end. And on the front end, you will probably see some type of a sync payment, which is an upfront payment for usage of your song in the production. And for us small-time independent folks, this could be anywhere from maybe $500 to $5,000. Now, I love writing songs for TV shows because this is where I have a little pride of ownership. It's the vocal songs that I send to friends and family and say, hey, check this one out. I think you'll really like the music I made. The downside of them are, unless you are a jack of all trades that writes the music, sings the music, plays the music, and does everything yourself, then you are probably bringing in some type of a collaborator. For me personally, I do not write a vocal song unless I work with someone else. So all of my vocal songs involve at least 2 people, sometimes 3. So now you take that $500 placement and divide it by 3 people. Now your money's down to about $175. So the money can deteriorate rather quickly on you, even though the starting point is a little bit higher. Which brings us to the final way that you can make music as a sync music producer, and that is to write musical cues. Now you could say, what is a cue? Well, just watch this video if you haven't seen it yet. Now, most of the usages you will see as a cue composer will happen on reality TV shows. When I say reality shows, what I really mean is unscripted television. Unscripted television can encompass anything from your stereotypical Real Housewives stuff to Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all the way to the real estate shows, to the home improvement shows, to the travel shows, to the beer drinking shows, and even game shows. So unscripted television does cover a wide swath of programming, and there is so much of it out there that the placement opportunities are quite nearly limitless. Just think of all the television stations that you get at home. There are tons of them, and every television station has its own programming, which runs 24 hours a day, and all of these unscripted reality shows pretty much run music from top to bottom. I mean, from the opening bell to the final credits. It is not uncommon for a 1 hour long show to use over 100 pieces of music. So how many placement opportunities are there for cues? So many that I can't even possibly try to count. Now, making instrumental cues and getting them on reality television is like the low-hanging fruit of the music industry. Okay, there is just a plethora of opportunity, and it is all hanging right here in front of your face. All you have to do is reach out and grab it, and you fill up these little buckets. Now, each reality TV show placement that you get might only make you somewhere between a couple of cents to a couple of bucks, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, maybe 100 on a good one, but they're really not going to go far beyond that. But if you walk around pulling all these $2 placements off of a tree, and every little cherry that you pluck that you put into a bucket is $2 plus $5 plus $6 plus 50 cents, all of this money adds up to a substantial amount of money if you get enough of them. So when I was early on in my career and I was trying to figure out which path I should take, I realized the sheer amount of opportunity there was in reality TV. And I decided to chase that, and I am sure as hell glad I did. Because even though my placements aren't comprised of anything that involves jaw-dropping money, they are comprised of a hell of a lot of placements. And you take enough of those things and put them into your little bucket, and your bucket will overfloweth with money. So to draw an easy analogy here, let's just say that your low-hanging fruit on this cherry tree is all down here, and there's tons of cherries at the bottom of the tree. All you have to do is reach up and grab them. But at the very top of that tree is this golden cherry like this that might be worth $100,000. But in order to get there, you have to walk past everything else because you know other people are also clamoring to get that golden cherry. So everyone's got their ladders and they all get up there, and guess what? There's only one cherry. So only one person walks away with that money. Meanwhile, everyone else who is up there, not only did they lose the golden cherry, but they lost all of the other low-hanging fruit because I'm down there plucking all of them away from them. So at the end of the day, who would you rather be? Would you rather be the composer that spends all of their time and effort chasing that giant placement at the top of the tree that is worth a hell of a lot of money, knowing that the chances of you getting it are fairly small? But if you do get it, you're made for a year or two. Or would you rather be the person like me who's just down with all these buckets, taking the low-hanging fruit a couple dollars at a time and just walking away with a truckload of cherries? So that is how I have built my career, and it's how you could build your career as well. But regardless which branch of this musical path you want to take, do know that there are rules for each path, and you need to know what those rules and approaches are if you want to stand any shot at success. But I also want you to know that no matter which path you take, you can succeed if you just stick with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel. And now I'm gonna finish with a quick joke. Why are archaeologists always so annoyed? Because they always have a bone to pick.